a long winding road to Oscar success for Geraldine Page. Much like Marie Dressler and Shirley Booth, who won their Oscars late in their acting career, Geraldine Page won it at the age of 61. She suddenly passed away a year after her win, but she left a legacy of Oscar-worthy performances that made her an underrated actress. Today, not many may know of Geraldine Page, so let's delve into the story of her life and career. After years of extensive studying of drama at various universities and institutes in the Midwest, she simultaneously studied under Uta Hagen's direction and then Lee Strasberg's method acting. Those were the late 40s, and Page established an independent company with fellow actors in Illinois too at that time. To support her aspirations, she worked various jobs like a coat check girl, theatre usher, and lingerie model. Page was in her early 20s and had nothing to lose. Her stage debut was in 1945 in Seven Mirrors. More productions followed that established her theatre career, like in Yerma in 1952, but most notably the Tennessee Williams production of Summer and Smoke. Geraldine became a relevant name in the off-Broadway movement. Film and TV gigs followed in the early 50s. Hondo, opposite John Wayne in 1953, was Geraldine's official film debut, and she already ticked off her first Best Supporting Actress Oscar nomination for her role in this film. But her hopes to become a film legend was suddenly halted when she was blacklisted for 8 years from Hollywood because she was associated with Uta Hagen, from who she studied acting earlier. The Hollywood blacklist was at its height, and Uta Hagen was one of the many on the Red Channel's list. Anyone who was associated with alleged communists or communism supporters or sympathizers were barred from working and contributing to the entertainment industry. Therefore, Geraldine Page turned her attention to theatre and TV for the remainder of the 1950s. She worked on major Broadway plays like The Rainmaker, The Immoralist, Separate Tables, and Sweet Buds of Youth, opposite major actors like James Dean and Paul Newman. Her TV performances were not unnoticed either, like in the series Playhouse 90, for which she got nominated for an Emmy in 1959. Geraldine entered the 60s with a succession of film adaptations from the previous plays she had worked on in the 50s. She rekindled her film career with movies like Summer and Smoke, Sweet Buds of Youth, and The Three Sisters. She also appeared in widely memorable films like Toys in the Attic, Dear Heart, and You're a Big Boy Now. Geraldine Page was unstoppable. She was loved by audiences and therefore film critics, even as far as being considered one of the finest actors of her generation. The 60s transitioned to the 70s, and the 70s transitioned into the 80s, and Geraldine was serving more and more phenomenal performances on film, stage, and TV. It was her deep dive into the universe of her characters that made her performances detailed and intrinsic. She said, "The main thing is the ability to control your instrument, which in the actor is yourself. Look the way you want the character to look. Sound the way you want the character to sound. Once you've trained the instrument to do what you want, you're in control and you're free." It did not make sense as to why Geraldine, one of the greatest, most seasoned actresses, had not won the Oscar. Geraldine was always a stage actress, first and foremost, Broadway being her place of power. She said, "I didn't want to be a Hollywood actress who every so often does a Broadway play. I want to be a Broadway actress who every so often does a movie." So possibly she was indifferent to an Oscar win, but after 7 overall Best Actress and Best Supporting nominations, she struck gold in 1986. It was her performance in the film A Trip to Bountiful in 1985 that captured her in the most vulnerable and gritty state on screen. And for this work, it made sense for a standing ovation to follow the beckoning of Geraldine Page's name as the recipient of the Best Actress Oscar. 3 more films followed suit, Riders to the Sea being her final one, because after her long-awaited Oscar win, Page suffered a fatal heart attack. Geraldine Page was certainly a legendary woman who touched many people with her deeply moving performances. Her only daughter, Angelica Page, also an actress from her marriage to Rip Torn, the actor, wrote and performed a monologue play about her late mother. She said this quote that proves just how fantastic Page was. "I grew up in the center of her sparkling career. As her only daughter, I feel compelled to share her lessons and gifts with others who did and did not have the opportunity to know her magic intimately. She was a true rebel and trailblazer, a masterful woman who was ahead of her time and should not be forgotten anytime soon."
I consider this woman the greatest actress in the English language. The winner is Geraldine Page, and a trip to Ballot.